beautiful people. How are we tonight? Yes, I'm singing. That's my singing voice. Um, Full transparency. I don't feel well, but I'm working through it. And I talked about this the other day. Um, Energetically, it's like a rebirth of some sort that's going on in my body. So I'm flowing with it, right? I'm flowing with it because what I realize is when you're not feeling well, and what I usually do is I get very resistant. And what I've come to realize is that our health has cycles and things that need to flush out and detox in our body that come up. Our nervous system triggers our immune system, and the more resistant I realize I am, even if it's painful, even if I just don't feel well at all, I have to energetically find a way in my mindset to not be resistant so that my body can cycle and do whatever it needs to do. Because at the end of the day, usually after I go through whatever health release detox I go through, I usually have more energy. I usually have more clarity. And the other thing I realize is we have so much stuff and gunk in our body, in our lymphatic system, in our digestive system, that our bodies sometimes freak out because they can't take it. And it forces us to find a way to detox through it. And so that's what's going on with me. And no matter how painful, frustrating it is, I know that I'm going through a detox. So, of course, it makes me want to meditate even more, want to pray even more. My body is saying go to sleep. So I have to go to sleep and do all these things. And I have to do it. I have to listen to what my body is telling me to do. But I also know that I have to get on live because I know that there is a message that I have to talk about for myself and for anyone that's listening, that comes to my channel, which I really, really appreciate. My channel is growing and I'm so grateful for that. And, to be able to gift anyone with words of just inspiration, motivation, whatever you want to call it, thinkitation, just things that I want to speak to you about. So relationships, right? So last week I talked about me being, which was it was a weird space for me, right? Because of just being vulnerable. Hello. Um, and so y'all know I can't see. I have to always go real close because of my vision, and then it's kind of dark in here. So anyway, long story short, I had to be like vulnerable. I really felt like I needed to talk about, just being open to dating and things like that. And just like, you know, just kind of my growth and, my thoughts about the things that I have let go and healed from. And, just that thought of, will any of those things or any of that aspect show up? No, I don't play Fortnite. um Show up, what's up, show up in any relationships that I will be in. And so I realized that I thought about the live. I even watched it back. Sometimes I watch the live, sometimes I don't. It just depends on how I'm feeling. But what I realized is like, it's okay, but I definitely know that I've healed enough that I'm not going to bring in um that energy into a new relationship. But what the biggest thing is that I want to talk about relationships is everybody seems to be having issues in relationships, honestly. And I'm not talking about the things you see on social media. And believe me, I do believe that people have great relationships. And I'm talking about romantically, right? But the majority of people that I know that are in my life when it comes to romantic relationships, they are struggling. They are in pain. Like, some people feel like they're in hell. And so no one forces us to make the choice to be in a relationship. And there's so many like controversies and people having all of these, opinions about, when it comes to like marriage or partnership, like, you should, people get out too quick, and, you people don't work hard enough, and da 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 da, and all this controversy. And the fact of the matter is, what I feel like, especially being in a relationship and, for 18 years and being married for 15 of them, what I really realize is that who we get involved with are mirrors of ourselves, right? I always talk about this because people don't want to believe it, right? It's easy to blame the other person or to say that something is wrong with them. And when I say something is wrong with them, I mean to that person that's in relationship with them, right? Because they're not communicating, or they're arguing about stuff, or they see things a certain way, the other person sees things a certain way, because they're from two totally different, backgrounds, households, how they grew up. But the fact of the matter is, you're not always meant to be with that person. Like, I think sometimes we force ourselves to be with someone that is totally not aligned with us, right? Or we are mirroring parts of ourselves that we don't like, and we blame the other person, but deep inside, we're actually reflecting the things that we don't like. But we don't want to look at ourselves in the mirror to heal the things that we need to heal when it comes to relationships. And so it's easier to blame the other person and say that, you know, the other person is messed up. There's something wrong with them. They're crazy. Da 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 da. And even in, I must say it, even in relationships where somebody may be labeled narcissistic or have a personality disorder, or what, however, we want to diagnose people. And I say this with the most love and the most light, as a mental health professional and as just a woman, right? But they're still reflecting something that's inside of you. And life is too short to sit in misery. Many of us don't want to be alone, but we also enter relationships that aren't right for us. We enter these partnerships with people that aren't right for us. And my thing is, what is the controversy? Because at the end of the day, who says we're supposed to be with one person forever? Who says that? You grow, you change. Some people meet literally under the guise of trauma bonding, right? They may be going through hard times in their life, or got out of something in their life, or rebuilding their life. And at that time, they meet a certain person. They're both healing from pain. And at the end of the day, one person grows usually and starts healing more, and the other doesn't, or neither people heal, and it's just like a battlefield. But all of this, whether we even think about it or not, when it comes to our relationships, is connected to our relationship with money. Because our relationships that we're in are directly connected to our self-worth, directly connected to how we love ourselves, how we treat ourselves, how we see ourselves. Because if you see yourself in a way that you are truly loving yourself, that you are truly feeling like you're worthy, then you would be reflecting that to somebody that you're with. You would attract that type of a person. And so that you would find more understanding. And I'm not talking about the baseline little things that people disagree on, in terms of like the toilet paper, or, just those little things that happen, just people's personalities. I'm talking about the deeper things of who someone is, their integrity, their values, who they are as a person, how they love, are they understanding? Have they healed those parts of themselves that have been through trauma, that have been through pain? Do they just want to hurt other people because they're hurt? Those are the things that I'm speaking about. Because if we believe enough in our self-worth and who we are and love ourselves, then our relationship with money will reflect that. Because having a healthy relationship with money is the same thing as having a healthy relationship with a partner. I understand that the way that people look at money, money is a tool, but money is also our friend. But the way that we grew up, our trauma surrounding money, the way we've been communicated about money, the way we grew up, maybe in lack situation, or even if we grew up in situations where you had a lot of money, there is still some type, usually, of trauma, of something that happened when it comes to the money. So we have to heal that inside of ourselves. We have to heal that inside of ourselves to be able to collect more money, to be able to create more money, to understand the foundation of money and not have that mindset of lack when it comes to money. That I don't work hard enough for it. It's just like a relationship. I don't work hard enough for the relationship. You shouldn't have to work hard enough for a relationship. Yes, relationships can be difficult, but that's because of the person you're with. It doesn't take all that work if you're aligned with the person because you're both loving who you are and you have self-worth and you've made a decision that you are an abundant person, then the money and the relationship will be abundantly tied to you too. I don't know if that makes any sense to anyone, but it's a fact. There are too many people that are suffering and pain with their relationships, their romantic relationships, and their relationships with money. And the only reason why I say too many people is because that is who I used to be. That is still somebody that's a part of me, that part of me that I've healed, but she's there. So last week when I spoke about those parts that were healed, I don't want those parts to come back. Those are the parts that I'm talking about. The parts that didn't think that I was valuable enough, the parts that didn't speak up for myself, the parts that did a lot of people pleasing, the parts that, really thought that it was better to pour and help into other people and help other people heal, and I was not healed myself. So how would I even expect to attract the person that I really want to be with in my head if I can't reflect that inside of my heart, in my heart space? Same thing with money. How can I expect to attract, to collect, to create more money, more value, more financial abundance for myself if I didn't think that I was worthy enough? And I had a love-hate relationship with money. I loved it when it was there, but I hated it when it was not. But at the end of the day, I was making the choices to create more money for myself, just like I made the choice to be with the person that I was with. Like I said before, life is too short to sit in a place of suffering when it comes to relationships. It's almost like so many times we choose to be in this disruptive state. And me waking up from that and realizing that the relationship that I was in, my marriage, was not serving me anymore. It wasn't just about the marriage, it wasn't just about him, it was me. I had not been serving myself. I had not been loving myself. And he just reflected that because if he was a reflection of that, then he was dealing with the same thing. So I say all of this to say, if you are suffering in a relationship, no, I am not telling you, or even giving you advice to leave the relationship that you're in. What I'm advising you to do is to check yourself and to find out how much you really love you, how much you're really, looking in the mirror and telling yourself that you're worthy enough, making decisions for yourself ahead of other people, changing your environments, cutting out relationships that are not serving you, that are not healthy for you, that are not allowing you to live for your highest self, for your highest purpose, things that are just, time wasting. Because really, we don't have that much time. I don't know about you, but it's like, I said this to my mentor before. I told him, it's like the days are moving fast. And he said, no, that's not what's going on. You have just become more conscious of time because you become more intentional of your life. And I thought, wow, Wow. Because it's like I'm so intentional and I'm so conscious of my energy and my frequency and who I give time to and what I'm doing. And it's not in a negative way. It's just, what do I want to do in my life at this point that moves the needle? And that's in relationships and that's in business, because I don't have time for the shenanigans anymore. Really needing to spend quality time with my kids or my family and not just go through the motions and be on autopilot. Do you love yourself enough to do the things that you need to do? If you are feeling down, suffering because of feeling like there is a lack of money in your life, there is a lack of relationship in your life, there is parts of yourself that have to heal. Because whether you want to see it or not, everything that you want is connected to everything that you are right now. So all that means is that you have to change your present vibration, your present reality. You can create a different reality for yourself. Yes, we always love to think about the future and the things that we want in the future and maybe the visions and the dreams that we have. But what are you doing in the present to get there? Because we're not always going to know the how. But you have to make a choice in your life that is going to gain momentum to get you to the next place, to get you to those dreams that you see, to those visions. You have to take steps forward to do that, because we can have these beautiful dreams, these beautiful visions about money, about relationships, about all of these things that we really, really, really want. And then we just sit still. We don't actually make the change to gain momentum to get those things. And then we sit there and we wonder why it hasn't happened. Or, we get sad because the things that we want we're not seeing, because we do have to take steps, but we have to look in the mirror at ourselves in order to gain the relationships that we want. But the relationship starts with ourselves first. I want to wish everybody so much love and light and sending so much positive energy. I know that 2025 is truly a year of manifestation, a year of abundance, a year of just really, really creating whatever it is that you desire, whatever it is that you want in your life. Take stock, take inventory, start writing down the things that you want and creating a way for you to get it. You are your greatest value. You are your greatest asset. Take care.